All right, shalawam, shalawam. It's Brother Yatazadak here, O Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Psalms chapter 92, according to the Hebrew. So, Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. This is a song for the psalm for the Sabbath day, right? Let's get right into it. Psalm 92:1 says, a composition, a song unto the Sabbath day, right? Which is reads in the Hebrew, Mazamar Shayar Layawam HaShabbat, right? Ma meaning of, Zamar means to make music, right? Which is that word means composition, right? Shayar means to sing or a song, right? Psalms 92:2, it is good to give thanks unto the Lord and to make music unto your name, O Most High, which is Tawab La Hadath La Yahweh wa La Zamar La Shamka La Yawan, right? The word for Hadath, which is Hawad, meaning to give thanks. It also means to praise or to confess, right? That is what we do when we give thanks unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right, for his loving kindness and tender mercies, right? As we're enter the time of Jacob's trouble, right, preaching the word through the power of Spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right, which we're really in it already, but right, there's going to be a climax onto that, which is a day of calamity, right, for 2/3 of our people, right, and the heathens as well, right, meaning the other nations, right. So we give thanks, right, and confession to the Yahweh Bashim Yahushai by throwing up the prayers, right, and lifting up our hands unto the east, right, Jerusalem, right, give thanks, right. So it says, to reveal in the morning your loving kindness, this is verse 3, and your faithfulness in the nighttime, right, which is Lahagyad, Babakwar Hasad Ka, Wa Amanath Ka Bal Yalath, right? Psalm 92:4, upon the 10-string instrument, right? Which is really your that's spiritual, right? That's talking about your hands, right? To give praises unto the Lord, right? And upon a harp, right? And upon a psalm, right? So it says that, which is the psaltery, right? Which is kanawar, right? That word hagayawan means to play upon the psaltery, right? Which is nagan, right? It means to play an instrument, but you also have the word haga, meaning to meditate, right? So this is in the sense of that smooth sound that the psaltery gives out, right? Let's get that. Salakia. So you have the harp, which is kind of war, right? The psaltery. Let's take a look at what that is. This is the psaltery instrument, right? This is it right here. Kind of like a violin, right? Which is why it says in verse 3, with a solemn sound, when you go to the blue letter, Salakia, with a solemn sound, right? So that is the psaltery and the harp with a solemn sound, right? So it reads Alaya Ishar, Salaki Alia, Ishar wa Alia, Nabal, Alia, Hagyawan, Ba Kanawar, right? Psalms 92 and 5, because I rejoice, O Lord, in your work, in the doings of your hands, right? I will be joyful, right? Which is Ranan, right? Meaning Ranan meaning to be joyful or to shout, right? Which reads Kayash Shamak Tanaya Yahweh Ba Payalka Ba Ma Aisharya Yad Yaka Arnan. Psalms 92 and 6, right? Because that word payal, Salakia, verse 5, right, means work, or Salakia means to do something that is done, which is a work, right? Because in its truth, you got to shut up, put up, or shut up, right? Psalm 92 and 6, how great are your doings, O Lord, exceedingly. They are exceedingly deep, your thoughts. Ma gadalwa ma ashyaka. There's like ma gadalwa ma shayaka Yahweh ma'ad imakwa ma chashabat yaka, right? The word imak meaning something deep, figuratively, right? But it actually means in a sense, a valley, right? Or literally it means a steep place, which is a vale. You can look that up. It's a sort of valley, a steep valley. Then you have chashab, right, which means to reckon, right, or to imagine, right? Or in this case, a design, right, which is a work of the Lord, which is good set against evil, right, to serve its purpose. Psalms 92 and 7, a man brutish does not know, right, and a fool does not understand unto this, right, which is Ayash Bayar La'a Yadai Wa Kasyal La'a Yabayan Atha Za'ath, right? Bayar means to consume, right? Which is that is what a brutish man is consumed by his own foolishness, right? Has no knowledge, he doesn't know, right? Kasal, right, means fool. Nabal, right, means folly. Psalms 92 and 8. when the wicked sprout like unto the grass, and they blossom all the workers of iniquity, it is for their destruction, even until forever, right? Meaning perpetually, right? Baparach Rishayim Kamwa Ishab Wayataza Yatazwa Taza Salakia Wayataza Yatazawa Kal Payalia Awan Laha Shamadam Adia Ad, right? Word Parak means to bloom. Taziyataza means to blossom, right? Ishab meaning grass, right? Which it actually means herb, right? Which grass is an herb, right? But you have the actual word for grass is dasha'a, right? Which means a sprout, right? Ishab. You can use it for grass as well, but Ishab is actually means an herb, which is the same thing in a sense, right? Psalms 92 and 9. So that is what the brutish do not understand, right? That right, they've been multiplied for the sword, right? Which is coming, right? And this is what we're out here to proclaim, right? Because essentially what's going to happen, Esau Edom is going to be as a madman spare none, right? And if you look at the media, right, you notice, right, there is a right, there's division in these latter days, right? And that's all the work of the Lord to serve its purpose, right? Slakia. This is Psalms 92 and 9. And you are exalted forever, O Lord. Wa'atha marawam la'ilam Yahweh. Because behold your enemies, Psalms 92 and 10, because behold your enemies, O Lord, because behold your enemies, they shall perish, they will be scattered, all that do iniquity, right? Or all the workers of iniquity. Kaya hana ayab yaka Yahweh, Kaya hana ayab yaka ya abadwa, yatha paradwa, Kal payalia awan. Psalms 92 and 11. And thou shalt lift up like a wild ox my horn, which is anointed in oil fresh. Watharam ka ra'ayim Quaranya Balathia Bashaman Rayanan, right? Because that word ra'ayim, the root is ra'am, meaning a wild ox, right? The blue letter says a unicorn, but that's not what it's talking about, right? Balathia, right? Which is right. You have a word which is a yabal, meaning to flow, right? In this case, it means to anoint, right? Figuratively upon oil, right? Right, that word means flourishing, right? Or fresh oil in this case, right? Because who has the oil, right, is the Israelites, right? The so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? Which have this understanding, right? It's giving us that eye salve, right, in order, right, to understand that these things must come to pass, right? Because why? Because the Lord has written them, right, in order for them uh, to take place, right? The Lord's movie, right? And the mark is the Lord's mark as well, right? The charagma, right? Because that great millstone, that's what our elders taught us, right? It is ultimately the Lord's charagma, right? Psalms 92 and 12. And will see my eyes upon my foes, um, upon those that rise up against me. Uh, the wicked will hear. Where's the lock here? Let me just get the blue letter because it's kind of throwing me off. So it says, and will see my eyes upon my foes that rise up against me, the wicked, right? Meaning, right, we're going to see, right, the wicked fall, right, and the righteous be justified, right? And it says, so it says, and will see my eyes upon my enemies, meaning we're going to see what we desire, which is their destruction, right? Because they're rising up against, right, the righteousness, right, the truth, right? Upon those that rise up against me, right, which is why it says, thabat, which is the word nabat, means to look, right? So it says, wa thabat ayanya ba shawarya, right? Because that word shawar is actually right. Certain times you'll notice the sha or tha is replacing, right, other Hebrew letters, right? For example, what is it? Ba'a sometimes is read atha, but it means to enter, right? Right? It means to come, to come to pass, right? Which is why you have, right, the Alpha, the Omega, right, and the Alap Bayath, or the Lashawan Kodash, which is the ox. And then you have the Tha, which means covenant, right? Baryath meaning contract, right? Atha, right? But it also, right? When you think about it, right, it means Abba as well, right? So this word is actually tazar, right? Which is the root is to be in straits or an enemy, right? In this case, right, it is a an adversary, right? Tazar, tazarar, right? So if you understand the Hebrew, you'll notice these subtle changes, right? So it says, baquamium, alia, meaning upon those that rise up against me, right? So it says the wicked will hear with their ear, right? Because they're hearing, right, the judgments of the Lord, right, which is really for 2/3 of our people and these other nations as well. The fall of Esau Edom, right? The Charagma being issued, right? And I recently saw a video Elder Apostle Har did, right, about things going cashless in April, right? So this is why you have to watch, right? And also pray, right? And right, hope that you are right, can see that day, right? So it says ma ra'ayim ta shemaina azanya azanaya, right? Psalms 92 and 13 says the righteous, like the palm tree, they will flourish, right? Which parak really means to bloom, like the cedar in Lebanon, right? Uh, they will thrive, right? This is in the sense of they will be rooted, right, or exalted, right? Because you have the word shagab, means a lofty place, right? But you also can compare the word nagash or nashag, meaning to bring close, right? This is in the sense of a tree taking root, right? So it says Tazadayak Kathamar Yaparach Ka Araz Ba Labanan Yashaga, right? The word Thamar meaning palm tree, Araz is a cedar. Psalms 92 and 14, they shall be planted in the house of the Lord, in the courts of our power, they will flourish. Which is Shathalium Ba Bayath Yahweh Ba Chatazarath Allah Yanawa Ya Paryahwa, right? Because that word Shathal, right, means to plant, right? But again, you're gonna see, right, Yasha, meaning something that is, or to make something. Thal, which is really should be Yash Shachal, right, meaning to plant, right, or to pierce. The word is Kalal, right? So again, you'll notice these subtleties if you know the Hebrew, if you study the Hebrew, right? Um, so it says, right, Chatazar meaning court, right, or Katazayar, right, meaning a yard, right. Psalm 92 and 15, even they will produce in old age, right. Um, Fatness and freshness. Doesn't say actually sap, right? Because it says here, they shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, right? Because that word nawab means produce, right? To produce, really produce, right? You have nabab, meaning to hollow out. Because that's what you do when you harvest fruit. You take it out of the ground, right, or whatever the case may be, right? And you hollow it out, right? Figuratively and literally, right? Because there's some fruit you have to kind of take the outer shell and whatnot. Um, but it just means produce, nawab. It's another word for fruit. Slakia. Shayaba, right, meaning old age. Right, you have the word zakwan, which means elder, but it also means beard. The shan really means fatness, right? So it says, even they will produce in old age, right? Meaning fruits meet for righteousness, right? Fatness and flourishing, fat and flourishing they will be, right? Which is Iwad, Ya Nawaban, Ba Shayaba, Dashanyam, Wa Rayanayam, Yahayawa, right? To show because the Lord is upright, my rock, and there is none unrighteousness in him, right? Which is Laha Kayad, right? Meaning to reveal or to make present. But you can say to show as well. Kaya Yashar Yahweh Tazawarya Wala'a Ilatha Bawa, right? Tazawar meaning rock, Yashar meaning upright. Ilatha, the word is Iwal, meaning unrighteousness, right? So there's no unrighteousness in the Lord's works, right? Like it says in the what is that, Peter? Let's look that up real quick. The Lord does not tempt man, neither does he he be tempted by evil. Something to that effect. Does not tempt man. Bible Hub. So this verse kind of goes above a lot of people's heads, right? James 1:13, when tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, neither does he tempt anyone, right? Because ultimately it's all, right, to serve the Lord's purpose, right? To show a manner or a way, right? And, right, that is what you call, um, um, destiny or predestination, right? So God cannot be tempted by evil, right? Because all things work through the Creator, right? God does not do evil, right? Or Salaki, he cannot be tempted by evil, neither does he tempt anyone, right? You shouldn't say God is tempting to do this or that because God has already showed you the way, right? He's never tempted to do wrong, right? Neither does he tempt anyone, right? Because ultimately we're drawn as creatures, that creations, which is why I say creature, right? Because we are creations and we are imperfect, right? It is one's own desire that brings one into temptation, not God, right? Which is why it says, James 1:14, but each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed, right? So with that, it's Brother Yatazdak here, O Israel, And this is a psalm for the Sabbath day, Psalms 92. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Yashala, Abad Babal, Shalawam.